Hello music lovers and welcome back to the Woodshed. You ever seen those switching systems that Pete Thorne, Andy Timmons, those guys use, and you wonder,
man, do I need that? Is that something that I could use? I wonder if it's worth it.
Sit back and crack open an ice cold beverage. Let me walk you through how to use a switching system and open your ears to the massive difference it makes in your tone. Alright guys, so I've got my main pedal board right here in front of me. Thanks to Jon Cooper for putting it together. Something I had used an iteration of when I was out with Rascal Flatts. And the key component is the RJM. Now, with that said, I want to take a look at my little mini board that I use for clinics. Okay, so this mini board has 4 pedals. It's got a tuner and 4 pedals, right? I've got a compressor, a Wampler Pinnacle, and the tried and true TC Electronics Flashback and the Hall of Fame reverb. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit with the pedals off, and you can just hear the tone. I've got the volume pedal right after. You can see my socks have BB-8, which are really cool. I've got my volume pedal right after the Pinnacle, so you see there's no signal there. I've also, after the volume pedal, going into the Flashback and the Hall of Fame, so we can hear how that sounds. Okay, now I'm going to turn on the Pinnacle. I'm going to add some top end here. Here we go. Let's add a little bit of gain, a little bit of top end. So that sounds pretty nice right there. This is just a vanilla setting. Okay, so that sounds acceptable, that sounds fine. What I'm going to do while we video is I'm going to unplug this right here. This is my amp. I'm going to come out of the Pinnacle straight into the amp. Flip the amp back. Now check this out. That's insane. We can all hear it. We can all hear how drastically that tone is. One more time, just for good measure, out of the Pinnacle, Hall of Fame. This right here is the input of the volume pedal, right back in to the Pinnacle. Volume pedal maxed out. One more time. This is unbelievable. I can't even believe that it's this much difference. Actually, I can believe it's this much difference. We take for granted how much signal degradation we get. Okay. Pretty unbelievable, right? So what did we learn with that little experiment regarding the clinic board? We learned that even though a pedal is off, when your signal's passing through it, it still affects your tone, and it affects it in a big way. The solution? Switching systems. Okay, a switching system is basically this unit that can loop everything out. So you have your pedal in this loop. Now, it doesn't matter if the pedal's good or bad, true bypass or not, blah, blah, blah. If you don't want to hear your signal through it, you simply turn that loop off. That way you can enjoy the effect when it's on and really have that fun univibe or whatever. And then when you don't want to hear the univibe, your signal isn't passing through that pedal at all. Okay, let's flip it over. I'm going to go to a different camera angle and let's take a look at the RJM Mastermind 10, how I use it, and the wonders it can do for your tone. Okay, so let's start out with RJM. One of the coolest features that it's got is the fact that it's got a built-in tuner and a mute. So I'm not playing, boom. I also don't need another tuner on my board, which is really fantastic.
There's a lot of specs regarding the buffers and all of this stuff. How you program it, all that jazz is on the RJM website. We're not going to really jump into that right now. I just want to walk you through how I use it. So from left to right, the green buttons are presets, okay? As you can see in this camera right here. So from left to right, we go clean. And then we add in clean 2, which is the BB and the RC. Now let's go back to clean 1 so you can hear it by itself. And then clean 2. Now that's really killer in that we're hearing the RC and the Woodshed comp in clean 2, and that's it. So next up, mid gain will be basically these 3 pedals. And then on kind of a single coil kind of sound. Okay, now moving forward, we have lead 1, which is my prototype Wampler over. A lot of gain, very reminiscent of EJ tone. Okay. Very simple. Moving forward, we have lead 2, which is the Andy Timmons pedal. And I've got it set for the most gain, maximum shred. And to be truthful, I don't really use it a lot, but it's just fun to have on the board. Tell it's got a lot more gain, a lot more gas, and it's a little more shreddy, which is... Super fun, super fun. Okay, now with that said, let me kick open a preset and show you what the loops look like. We're going to go back to preset 1, which is clean 1. Keep in mind the delays you're hearing and the reverbs are courtesy of Logic. I do not have the Strymon and the Blue Sky on at this moment. So let's go in. All I do when I'm playing live is step on loops, and now I can see everything that's on and or off. So if you look at the top in the white, I've had Jon label what piece of gear is in each loop. So as you can see right now, the only pieces of gear that are on are the volume pedal and the comp. So if I don't want to hear the volume pedal, here's the volume pedal on. Turn the volume pedal off. You can already tell it's a little more open, right? So that volume pedal's off. The only reason I have that on is so when I go to the channel, I can do any swells that I might have. That kind of clean swell thing. Okay, let's talk about what's happening. At any point in any preset that you're seeing on the in the video, I can add or subtract anything in the signal chain. So let's say I'm in a really noisy, I've got an RC booster on, I've got a BB on. You can hear the noise floor raise up just a touch. Now, let's say that I want to get rid of that noise floor. I can bring my noise gate, which is right here, I can bring it in. And we can silence that out. It's really important to have not permanently in line, because what if I'm not playing in a noisy scenario? Like I would consider this amount of noise very acceptable. That's totally acceptable compared to the level of guitar I'm playing. Now if I go to a neck pickup, if I want to get rid of that, it's that easy. Here's without the volume pedal. Here's the same lick without the volume pedal. You can really tell how much tonal degradation we're getting, okay? Now, next up, let's go to just my pedal, my prototype pedal right here. So that is going to be gear. I want to play real quick with the volume pedal on. Check it out. I can hear how it's making my tone a little darker, right? Again, with the noise gate, I can bring that in or take it out. Now, wah. This is really cool because if I want to wah, a lot of times I don't like the clicking thing. I always feel it's cumbersome. With this, I can step on the wah and bring it in and out. Let's go ahead and turn the gate on. Wah's on now. Look. I specifically love the Alice in Chains Cantrell wah. I think it sounds incredible. Now, I don't have to worry about clicking it. Like I said, if I want to take it out, boom, out of the equation altogether. Now my signal is not even passing through this wah, so I could really care less about the buffers in it, okay? Another cool pedal that we talked about was the G&I pedal, okay? The Octafuzz. So here is neck position right around the 12th fret. Now let's step on that G&I. Doesn't matter the signal degradation. When I step off of the loop, it's not even there. It's that simple. So this is with nothing, and then, so yeah. Here's the Andy Timmons. I don't use that tone a lot, but again, it's just something fun to have on there. And with anything, it makes trying out different pedals that much easier. So let's just say I got a different high gain pedal and I wanted to try it out. I can simply take one of these pedals off and that loop is still, I can really compare it. You know, if I wanted to compare something to the AT, I could take the G&I off, compare it. Same way with my prototype or the RC or the BB, so on and so forth. One last detail regarding the pedal board that I'm not addressed is the fact that I've got my wet and dry for my delay right here on this expression pedal. Now again, for the sake of this video, I could not set up, I don't have two universal audio auxes, I only have one. So the reason I don't have the delay and the verb and the expression pedal in this video is because I only have one universal audio aux. I only record 1 amp at a time. In a practical scenario, when I'm making a record or working on overdubs, I only record 1 amp, 1 guitar, double track that again, right? I'm never tracking in stereo. So with that said, I cannot demo the board in stereo for you for this YouTube video. So what you're hearing is the delay and the reverb from Logic, and these are bypassed. But with that said, all this is a big old mix control. So with the heel down, it's really, really dry. With the toe forward, it's really, really wet. It's been something I've used for the better part of the past year and a half. I really like that setup. One more thing that's not finished on the board, and it's because the connectors on the Terraform, the MIDI is not the standard MIDI. It's like this micro mini MIDI. And so I've got to get that cord and then wire that into the board. But I was so happy to get this board done. I was just so excited about the board, I wanted you guys to hear it. So I didn't really worry about programming the Wampler. So let's take a listen to a couple of my settings I've got in the Wampler. We're going to have the RC on and the comp on for this. Here is the vanilla tone. Now, in the Wampler, I've got roughly 6 settings that I use. Let's turn it on and see what we've got first. So this is like a chorus setting that I love, very reminiscent of Def Leppard. Okay, now if we cycle through, we get some other settings. This is a little more of that like EJ Flanger kind of thing, right? Very reminiscent of like Highlander. Okay, let's continue on, cycling through the Terraform, get another one. This one looks like to be a Leslie. Thing. Okay, moving forward. So this one right here is one of my favorite things that the Terraform does, and a big reason why I purchased it is the kind of bridge of size. A good Univibe, and man, that is a good Univibe. Okay, now if I go to the next setting, let's see what we got. Now when I go to the next setting, it's like a very traditional country kind of slow trim. And man, you just can't beat that for those ballads and that sexy, slow country stuff. Okay, moving forward. Moving forward, here's an old school Waylon Jennings phaser. Last up is a switch on the AT, and the last up is like a chop kind of thing that I think is kind of cool for, you know, some of that stuff that was happening in the 90s with early 2000s, Green Day records, things like that. They would have these chopped kind of guitars. And I can change the timing of that. Let's change that. So as you can see, one more time to go over everything, when I don't want to be in loop mode, I simply hit the loops, and now I'm in preset mode. I can go across through all my different presets and hear everything that I want. When I'm in preset mode, I got a tuner that mutes out my entire signal, which is super awesome. And if I'm ever in a preset and I want to adjust anything on the fly, simply hit loops, the lights go blue, and I can turn everything on the board on and off as I wish. All right, so there you have it. There's the walkthrough of my board and the value of the switching system. As you can hear at the opening of the show, when I showed you how much tonal degradation is happening by the simplicity of a volume pedal and a couple of TC Electronics pedals. If you were to put those on the loops, you wouldn't have that kind of noticeable tonal degradation. So I definitely am an advocate of looping systems. I bought my RJM. It's not given to me. This isn't a commercial for those guys, even though I love them. I think RJM makes great stuff. I want to shout out to Daniel at the Gig Rig. Those guys do great stuff. His setup is incredible, okay? And if you're on a budget, I even think that Boss makes a little switcher that you can use. So I'm definitely now living back where I was when we were on the road all the time, with the idea that, man, you gotta have a switching system for your main tone. If you're a guy that only uses a tube screamer and a twin, or a Marshall and a fuzz, then maybe it's not for you. But if you're any kind of working musician, if you're any kind of guy that's out there beating up the pavement, or even in sessions and studios and stuff like that, this is worth its weight in gold. I can take this into a studio, and if the producer doesn't want to hear anything, he's literally not hearing it, where the loop's not even active. So with that said, I hope you enjoy it, and definitely get online and look at all the things the Mastermind can do. You can edit it via the laptop, which is how we did it. You just plug USB into the back of it, and you don't even have to type through menus. Like, I love that. I love the fact I can just grab and click and put it where I want it, and it's super easy. The software is super intuitive. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope everyone has a great week.